The road to Zarephath stretched long and dusty before Elijah. By the time he reached the town's edge, his sandals were worn, and the afternoon sun sank low, turning the sky into soft shades of peach and gold. Zarephath was a foreign town. Unfamiliar voices, unfamiliar smells, unfamiliar faces. But God had told Elijah, "I have commanded a widow there to feed you." So he walked forward, trusting the unseen. As Elijah approached the town gate, he noticed a woman bending over the ground, gathering thin, brittle sticks. A small boy hovered nearby, his cheeks hollow, his eyes tired. The woman's shoulders drooped under the weight of exhaustion. Her hands trembled slightly as she picked up each piece of wood. Something in Elijah's heart stirred. He stepped closer and said gently, "Please, bring me a little water in a jar so I may drink." She paused, surprised by the stranger's voice, but nodded slowly and turned to go. Then Elijah added softly, "And bring me a piece of bread in your hand." This time she froze. Her eyes dropped to the sticks in her hands. Her voice cracked like dry leaves as she whispered, "My Lord, I have no bread, only a handful of flour in a jar and a little oil in a jug. I was gathering these sticks to prepare a last meal for me and my son. After that, we have nothing left." The boy beside her lowered his eyes, nudging his toes in the dirt. For a moment, the wind blew between them, soft, almost sorrowful. Elijah took a slow breath. Then he spoke the words God had placed in his heart. "Do not be afraid. Go home and do as you have said. But first, make a small loaf of bread for me. Then make something for yourself and your son. For this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. The jar of flour will not be used up, and the jug of oil will not run dry, until the day the Lord sends rain on the land." The widow looked at him. Her eyes showed the battle inside, fear on one side, hope on the other. Could she trust? Could she believe that this promise was truly for her? She turned to her son. He looked back with wide, uncertain eyes. Finally, with a trembling breath, she nodded. "Come," she said quietly. "Follow us." Inside their tiny home, shadows stretched across the walls. The flour jar sat in the corner, light enough to lift with one hand. The oil jug rested beside it, hardly making a sound when shaken. The widow placed her sticks under a small stone oven. Her hands moved slowly, as if every motion cost her strength. She dipped her hand into the flour jar. Elijah watched. One handful. Enough, barely. She tipped the jug of oil. One thin stream. Enough, barely. She mixed the dough, her son watching eagerly, his stomach growling softly. A warm, comforting smell soon drifted into the room. Bread baking, crust turning golden, the scent filling every empty corner of their home. The widow served Elijah first, just as he'd said. Then she broke bread for her son. The boy bit into it hungrily, crumbs dotting his small chin. The widow let out a breath she didn't realize she had been holding. Then, something made her turn. She walked back to the jar. She lifted it. It felt heavier. A small gasp escaped her lips. The flour, it was there, still full enough for another loaf. Her hands flew to her mouth, her eyes flooded with tears. Disbelief, relief, gratitude all tangled together. She whispered, "The jar, it hasn't emptied." Elijah smiled gently. God keeps his promises. The boy ran to his mother and wrapped his thin arms around her waist. The widow held him close, resting her cheek on his hair. That night, as the stars appeared above Zarephath, the widow sat beside her son, watching him eat a second piece of bread, warm, soft, and full of hope. Outside, the world was still in drought, but inside their home, something new had begun: faith in a God who fills empty places. Even when the jar looks empty, God is already preparing tomorrow's provision. Good night, little one. Sleep knowing that God never forgets those who trust Him.